Well, I said in my last devotional that would be the last one that I would do in this outfit and the last one that I would do on Ezra. And I never should have said that because I'm about to do another one. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But as we think about Ezra's life and especially the book of Ezra, there is seriously one more thing I want to say about him. On several occasions, we read about God's hand being on Ezra and upon those who left Babylon and traveled back to Jerusalem with him. For example, let me just give you a couple of examples here. In Ezra chapter 8 and in verse 18, it says, "Then by the good hand of our God upon us." And then it tells what happened. We're still in chapter 8 and in verse number 22, "The hand of our God is upon all those for good who seek him, but his power and wrath are against all those who forsake him." Again, talking about if the desire of our heart is to seek God and to go with God and to obey God, God's hand is going to be upon us. Listen to that again, 8:22 of Ezra. "The hand of our God is upon all those for good who seek him." So rest assured in this promise, if you seek God every day, God's hand is on you. I can't imagine anything better than having God's hand on us. I can't imagine anything worse than having God's hand off of us. May it never be like that. May God's hand always be on us. And also in Ezra chapter 8 and verse 31, the Bible says, "The hand of our God was upon us, and he delivered us from the hand of the enemy and from ambush along the road." Notice, the hand of our God was upon us. And so as they were traveling from Babylon to Jerusalem, there could have been all kinds of people who would try to attack them or to kill them or to rob them, but it didn't happen. And the reason that it didn't happen is because the good hand of God was upon them. And so I encourage you today to live your life in such a way that God's hand would rest upon you, even that both of God's hands would rest upon you. And boy, if you're in God's hands, you're in the safest and in the best place that you can be. And again, we have that promise that if we seek God, his hand will be upon us. A similar verse is in 1 Chronicles chapter 4. I believe verses 9 and 10. I'm going off the top of my head now, but I believe it's 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. And we read about the man named Jabez. And Jabez had a tough start in his life, and he just really had a tough start. But nonetheless, he prayed one day, and here's what he prayed. He said, "God, I pray," he prayed for four things. He said, "God, I pray that you will bless me. I pray that you will enlarge my territory. I pray that you will place your hand upon me. And I pray that you would keep me from evil." I'm working on a new booklet right now. We're devising a booklet called Meeting God in the Psalms. And we've got a lot of verses from the book of Psalms that we put together in a 31-day devotional. And hopefully that'll be ready late spring, maybe early summer, that we can give that out. But I've rewritten part of the morning prayer in the beginning of that. And in that morning prayer, I have included the prayer of Jabez. "Lord, bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, place your hand upon me, and keep me from evil." Well, one thing's for sure, God's hand was on Jabez. The Bible says that God answered his prayer. God's hand was on Ezra because God protected him and used him in a wonderful way. And I want God's hand to be on me. And I know that you want God's hand to be upon you. And so the best thing that we can do in order for that to happen is to devote our lives to God, to devote our lives to seeking God, to devote our lives to the work of God. Here's an easy way to say it. Devote your life to this, to knowing God as best as you possibly can, and then to doing everything within your power to making God known to others who don't already know him in a personal way. Knowing God, knowing Jesus, and making him known. And if you'll set that as the goal and purpose of your life, you're going to find God's hands are going to rest on your life. And in those hands, there is protection, there's provision, there's peace, there is everything that we need to live our lives and to serve him. And so I didn't want to conclude our study of Ezra without talking just for a moment late tonight about the importance of having God's hand upon our lives. Have a great day, seek the Lord, and be confident that God's hand is upon you as you go about your day to day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.